Jesse Sparrow.
Hi. Thanks
How
for
are-
having me, Milty.
Yeah, thanks for being here. Definitely not a pirate. I when I got the email, I saw the name Jesse Sparrow, and automatically kind of thought, wait, is this a pirate email?
Yeah.
And then I was like, no, there's no relation to Jack there. So, um, no, sorry. You probably get that a lot, but it just
Not
came
as
to me.
much as I used to. Back in the day, it definitely happened a lot. But,
I didn't
sparrows,
mature.
yeah. Yeah, but sparrows also happen to be my favorite animal. So,
Oh, cool. Yeah, they are pretty nice little birds. We actually
yeah.
live in Appalachia, so we see a lot of sparrows and other types of wildlife all the time. I live in the
Mhm.
woods almost, so yeah,
Yeah.
very cool. So, you are the executive director of Reimagine Atlanta,
Hmm.
and so I wanted to, I didn't know anything about this. And I'll let you tell what Reimagine Atlanta is. Then I have a little short story. It's I was a part of something similar to this, but would you explain for my viewers what Reimagine Atlanta is?
Yeah, sure. So we are a workforce development nonprofit. We work with 11 to 24-year-olds all throughout Metro Atlanta who are interested in film and digital media careers. So we do career exposure, training, and provide placement opportunities as well. And so the goal is to break down any of those barriers to entry to make sure that creatives can step into their field.
That's awesome. So I was a part of something similar. I actually didn't actually really join it. It was kind of more like a little orientation deal that I went to. And have you ever heard of Ralph Wilcox?
I haven't.
Okay, he's not very common anymore. I think he probably was more prominent in like the 70s and 80s as an actor,
Mhm.
but he was in the movie Cop and a Half with Burt Reynolds. He was his
Oh, okay.
partner in that movie, and so like he came to Colquitt, Georgia, and started a studio there. And I'm so bad I don't even know like how like if it's still going or what's going on there. But I went to an orientation for a summer program, and I went to a few sessions and to learn. And so I learned a lot about like lighting and like setting up cameras and doing a lot of the work and stuff. But I also had just started college and was a part of a voice program. I was on a music scholarship at a fine arts college, and so I wasn't as focused at the time of learning film and things like that, like my friend Jonathan Reels, who he probably went to it a lot more often than I did. But the guy would he would help you to set up you know he would have jobs that you could work on and learn
Mhm.
how to do the business, make commercials for local businesses. Sometimes there would be a film being shot and then he would have a crew ready, like you would be the crew. And you'd go out and help out with those scenes and stuff like that. So I imagine that Reimagine is something similar to that.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we have a lot of different programs, but one of the programs that we do is a mock set. So we make sure that students are getting that on-set experience without sort of feeling that, oh my goodness, I'm on a real set for stepping on it for the first time. So they're able to get hands-on training with sound and lighting, script writing, behind-the-scenes photography, all of those things in a safe environment with us before they're stepping on a real set. Yeah.
That's really cool. You say safe environment, I imagine, because when you step onto a real set and you don't know what you're doing, you're probably going to get smashed against the wall.
Yeah, yeah, we
Not
definitely want to
literally,
make
but
sure people are prepared. Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Well, it can be tough and it can just be intimidating. And so we work with a lot of different types of students, including students who are neurodiverse. And so they find that working with us, it helps them to then understand that they can actually achieve this as a career or be able to be on set and not have it be so daunting.
Right.
So we are trying to prepare people for that first experience and make it low risk. Yeah.
That's cool because that creates
Mhm.
a level of accessibility to people who might be too shy to try something like that.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's very cool. So, what are some of the programs that you run? What is the age group that you work with again?
We work with 11 to 24-year-olds mainly, but
Okay.
we have worked with students as young as 7. So our
Oh, cool.
curriculum, yeah, we can alter it based on age range, based on different learning abilities. So we were also working with some students in Sylvan Middle who had hearing disabilities. and we're using a translator and that sort of thing. So we try to make sure we're, again, breaking down those barriers to entry. So we do film festivals, countywide film festivals for Gwinnett and DeKalb County schools. And those include some of those mock set experiences. And then we also have some career exposure workshops we do with in-school students. And then once students get about 16 to 24, they can join our summer-long filmmaking fellowship, and we walk students from ideation all the way through their finished film. And then we also have
So they
apprenticeship tracks.
create the film?
Yeah, they create the film. And what's so great about that program is once they've completed it, they're ready to step on set with us. So we have our own clients that we do productions for. And so they will lead the production. They will be everything from, first AD to DP to the PA, all of the different roles. And that's led underneath our program director, Padas Chowdhury. So he makes sure that the students are prepared and guides them on set alongside some professionals, just to make sure that, if anybody has any questions or they're struggling with something, they've got someone on our team by their side. So that's a really amazing program for me.
That's very exciting. I mean, just to imagine, to have something like that to teach kids how to have a work ethic, even, or how to put things together in a way that you can make it work. Like, you could utilize that skill for just about any career, even if you
Yeah.
go into film.
Definitely. And we try to make sure that's kind of across the board in our programs. So outside of the filmmaking fellowship, we have apprenticeship tracks, and we teach sound design, social media, animation, and social media post-production.
Yeah.
And as part of that, we do leadership development. So we try to teach those entrepreneurial skills that are going to help you no matter what job you step into. Because we all know it's hard to get into film and digital media. But also, we want to make sure that people are prepared to step in as leaders, right? And so whether that's how to make a budget, or learning about financial wellness, the importance of networking, we do mock interviews and portfolio development. So we want to make sure students are prepared.
That's cool. So you could literally learn to operate a light or become a producer from what you've got going on there.
Yeah, definitely.
That's cool. So what got you involved in this kind of work?
Oh my gosh, just kind of a crazy journey. I never thought I would be here, but I've always loved being involved with the community, and even in college had started a totally different nonprofit. And found myself in the hospitality industry. Basically, I was putting myself through college, waiting tables, working behind the bar. Ended up becoming a manager, and thought, okay, well, I'm gonna take a break from getting my master's degree, right? Because I love teaching, so I thought, well, I'll probably be some kind of teacher, or professor, or something like that. But ended up taking the management track and continued to learn and grow. Eventually, I became the human resources and operations director, overseeing 7 different businesses.
Wow.
And yes, and if you know, the hospitality industry, much like the film industry, can have some long hours.
Yeah.
So as I was progressing up, I was given an offer to become a COO. And I thought that was so flattering and wonderful, but also thought, I feel like I've kind of grown up as much as I can. I never thought I'd be leading something.
Yeah.
I really more so wanted to be back out in the community. And I felt like because work was demanding, I wasn't able to kind of do that. So I told the owners of the company that I wanted to make a switch, and that I was going to try to go find something in a nonprofit, somewhere where I could put my skills to use, because a lot of times nonprofits and small businesses, what they need so much is that person who knows operations and HR, and they just don't have that resource.
Sure.
So took a leap of faith and ended up finding Reimagine, which is funny because I even studied film in college, but didn't think I was ever going to make anything of myself. I was kind of always told no and didn't really have the resources. So being able to be that resource for these folks, these young folks coming up, has really been amazing. And when I joined Reimagine, I was the operations director. Our executive director, Julie Straw, was with the organization since its founding in 2014, and was just making some life changes, and ended up stepping down. And so here I am, learning it all. And it's been the most amazing experience to be around all of the young people that we that participate with us. They inspire me every day, even on the worst days. All I have to do is just kind of watch what's going on, and it's amazing.
That's so cool.
Yeah,
I mean, so you kind of had some film experience from college, but like you weren't headed in that direction. But like just looking at how you ended up there and what you do there, like that's a prime example. Like you need some people that can run a camera, but you also need some people that can run a business. And when
exactly.
you can combine all that, you can have something that's a force to be reckoned with.
Yeah.
That's very cool.
Hmm.
So, I was going to ask you. So, what kind of what's the day like in the program? Pick one of the programs that maybe that's for the younger folk, and tell me what's a day like. What kind of things do you do?
Okay, so for some of our younger folk, we have socio emotional storytelling curriculum. We call it Embrace the Mess. And
Hmm.
it's all about breaking down those barriers to creativity and vulnerability and building trust between students and teachers. And so basically, we start with some really crazy ice breaking things where students kind of feel like they're silly, but start to let their guard down. And then we start to go work through Uta Hagen's 6 steps, which is, a theater, basically theater techniques. And so we start to show them how a story is built and how things work. And then they're doing journaling all along the way. So where they're increasing their writing skills. And when they are ready, we start to introduce them to using their own story as a log line. And so taking nothing and making something out of it, or taking something that maybe you thought was ugly and making it a beautiful piece of art. So really showcasing their individual story and their individual creativity. And at the end of it, they have a log line. We use that to make a short video. And then that's the end of the project.
Very cool. I
Mm-hmm.
like that. Yeah, something that I want to do with my son, if I can ever talk him into doing it with me, is taking like the action cam and teaching them how to like tell a story with just the video, not have any
Mm-hmm.
like dialogue or anything, but maybe like just have an object like an apple or something, and just like maybe it gets eaten a little bit at a time,
Mm-hmm.
and you follow the apple around, but you don't focus on the person that's biting the apple, and it gets set down, or just some random thing like that, just to kind of tell a little story. Because I also would like to teach him to have a craft that he can use to share his ideas and expressions through the world.
Yeah, definitely. I love that. And storytelling is really at the heart of everything that we're doing, right? Human beings, we've always been storytellers. And whether we're telling the story through an object, through lighting, through sound, through the way that we're acting, it's all about bringing that story to life and sharing it with the world.
I see that you have some sponsors like Warner Brothers Discovery, so they take you pretty seriously.
Yeah.
I looked at your board of directors. There's some important people on there, people from the Atlanta Hawks and stuff like that. Just um, so how does that where does the funding come from? That's what I'm trying to say.
Oh my gosh, from so many different areas. We've really worked to try to diversify where funding comes from because we know from day to day and year as a nonprofit, you've got to find those funds.
You have to have
So a
donors,
lot of
yeah.
times we're getting funding from foundations. We do also get some government support. We have contracted services. So for in-school programs, we're typically contracted through either a school or some sort of governmental organization. Like for instance, with Gwinnett County, we're funded through Explore Gwinnett.
Cool.
And then we also have contracted services for our productions. So, for instance, through the MBA Foundation and NBC Universal, we'll actually have a contract this year to produce our own story.
Oh,
We
cool.
did it last year for the Knowledge House. We created a nationwide promo for the Knowledge House. And then we also have corporate support, and we're trying to build our support from individual donors.
Very cool.
Yeah.
So I saw that there's a subscription with perks that people can go on the website and they can contribute to help out. What are the perks that people might get if they were to do that?
Yeah, well, one thing is, just having access. We have a quarterly newsletter that we'll send out to donors just to let them know where the money is going towards and what we've been doing. So, kind of sharing videos and photos of students and that sort of thing. There's also Reimagine Swag, tickets to our events. So, because students are always creating work, we try to have quarterly showcase events for that student work. And then we also try to share what that dollar kind of looks like. So, for instance, $150 could go towards a computer for a student that doesn't have one, because we're not just training this, with the skills. We're also thinking about what are all of the things that a student might be missing. Do they have software? Do they have a computer? Do they need access to equipment? Are they having issues with housing or transportation? We're trying to think about the individual holistically.
I like that. So you're not just using it for the organization, but you're also helping the kids and the young people that are coming and learning from you
Mhm.
on more of an outreach level as well.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and we see all kinds of all kinds of things, and that's why we have so many different partners. We try to have a large network of partners, different youth serving nonprofits and other organizations. So. Obviously, we can only do what we specialize in, right? But if we know the people that specialize in housing, or we know the people who specialize in, for instance, we have a match savings program with United Way and Frontline Housing. We're able to offer those resources to our students.
Very cool. So if someone were to happen to just see this podcast by chance that had a lot of resources, what is something that the organization needs?
We are always in need of equipment. Equipment can be costly, but the more equipment we have, the more we're able to put it in the hands of students. And so, as we continue to grow and expand to more students, we need to have more cameras, we need to have more lighting kits, that sort of thing. Another thing is we're always looking for computers. There are so many students who want to participate in our programs, but they just need a computer or they just need an Adobe software license. And we always try to make sure that that is not something that they don't have. It's something that they need.
Sure. And for anybody who watches this that doesn't know, if you've got money and you can donate, any type of creation these days, it requires a computer powerful enough that you can actually render a picture or a video. And, it's not cheap. And,
Yeah.
it's a barrier to entry for some people.
Yeah, definitely. And we've seen student. I mean, we had partnered in the past with PCs for People. We've partnered with Apple to get computers, and as fast as we can get them in, almost sometimes we get them out in the hands of students as well. So it's we're definitely trying to make sure that. We're working with students who have the passion, regardless of their income status or their background or that sort of thing. And so we've got to make sure that we're making an even playing field.
Absolutely. I think I saw that is it 800 or more students that you've worked with in the past year?
Yeah, so last year we actually typically will serve around 500 students a year. Last year we were able to serve over 800, and I'm really hoping we can do that again this year.
That's
But
amazing.
it takes a village.
Yeah.
So yeah, the more that we get the word out, the more that schools get to know us, or different employer partners get to know us, the more opportunities that we can make for kids
Very cool.
and
Now,
the young adults as well.
do you work within schools too?
hmm Yeah, so we have our district wide with DeKalb County Schools and Gwinnett County Schools. We've worked with Fair Oaks Elementary. We've worked with Sylvan Middle. We've worked with several schools in APS and throughout Fulton over the years, and trying to work to go district wide with them as well. So we work with schools, but we also work in after school centers around Atlanta. So Dunbar Recreation Center, Grant Park, Adamsville Park, and then Thomasville Heights as well. We've all been at the past year.
Very cool. So, how does a student get involved if they don't know anything about your program and they're listening to this, or their parents happen to see this and they're in Atlanta or the area? How do they get involved in this?
Yeah, definitely. So the easiest way is just to go onto our website. On our programs page, there is like a little application link that you fill out. That's our intake form. Lets us know all about you. And then from there, we reach out once we have a program that suits. It'll ask you for like, what are you interested in? our programs run throughout the year. So we might have a post-production class happening in the spring, but we'll also have one in the fall. And so as we see your interest, we start to reach out to say, hey, we're going to open up the application for this. If you're interested, put your name on it.
Very cool. And what does anybody have to have any kind of special skill whatsoever? Is it just the passion? I want to be creative. I want to work in this industry,
Yeah.
or just
Yeah,
interested to
we
learn?
start from zero. Yeah, so as long as this is what you want to do and you're committed to it, our programs are free, and we want to be a resource for you. So all you need to do is show up and do the work and put in the effort, and we'll put in the effort on our side, and we'll get you where you need to be. Um, the other thing too, for people who want to stay involved, students can join our newsletter. Even if you just send an email to info@reimagine atl.com, it comes to a human, it comes to one of us. And so we'll put you on the newsletter. Also following us on Instagram. We post a lot of stuff on there letting folks know what we're doing.
Very cool.
Mm-hmm.
See, I have some more questions that I wanted to ask you. I really did ask you most of the questions that I had written down. No, but I really do appreciate this program. It's really cool. Who are have you? Does anybody like from the Hollywood scene ever come by and talk to the kids?
We haven't had that so much in the past, but the more our board is growing, the more we are getting some of those connections to be able to bring to kids. And we do go around to the different studios. We've got ties with, we go do tours at Trilith or Assembly or Eagle Rock or just all of the different studios throughout Atlanta, and introduce students to their staff members and to their team. So even though we might not have the exposure of celebrities, we're working towards that, and we also want to make sure that students have the ability to see how it works on a real set.
Yeah,
That's typically where we'll do our mock sets. Actually, is on in an actual location.
that's really cool.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure that at some point in the near future, you're going to start seeing celebrities pop by and give, like, why not? Why, if I was a celebrity, I would come in and I would talk to the kids and give them, like, like, this is my story. This is what it's about. This is why I do this. I'm sure that that's going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, that would be wonderful. We have what's called Open Studio once a month, and that's where we're really teaching those leadership development skills. And as part of that, we have industry professionals come and share their stories. So our students are always getting that one-on-one time with people who maybe they are burgeoning producer or they're a director, and really teaching them about how they got where they were. And we always make sure that there is time for questions and answers. And sometimes the students will even get the Instagram of the people so they can like follow up later. It's really awesome to see when people come and speak to our students how excited they are to share, their experience and to share their network.
Very cool. Now, so you teach the basics. Do you teach editing, sound design, things like that?
Yeah, so in our apprenticeship tracks, they're year long, but they're broken up into kind of 2 10-week courses. And during those tracks, we're teaching post-production, sound design, animation, and social media. And it'll start, the first 10 weeks is kind of, getting your feet wet, learning the basics and all of that. Whereas the second part of the track is really honing those skills and getting ready to pitch to an employer partner.
Very cool. Now, like when you say animation is difficult. What kind of animation are we talking here?
So we're starting with 2D animation and we're going through 3D animation. And that'll be the first track. We're really starting with some specific projects. And the second track, we always try to make sure that there's a specific industry level certification. So whether that's, HubSpot for social media or Adobe Premiere Pro for editing or whatever that looks like. I'm not the program director, and I don't really have my hands in as much of like the details of the programs, just because there's so much going on.
Oh yeah,
So I know that they are learning on a specific software, but I can't think of it right now.
I think I know the one that you're
track.
talking about. It's probably the one that they use for Cartoon Network.
It might be a
I can't
Blender.
think.
That's what it is. They're using Blender right
Okay,
now. They're in track one, and they're using Blender. But we'll probably have a certification in Adobe once they get finished with that. So, as an example of like what is track one versus what is track two, social media tends to be the easiest to break down for people because in track one, it's more about that content creation and capture, whereas in track two, it's more how do you manage it.
very cool. Do you utilize AI for any of it?
Yeah, so that's actually something we're trying to fold into all of our programs. We're blessed to have some amazing folks from Georgia Tech come and talk about emotion AI and what is it, what's the good, the bad, and the ugly, how do we use it, and that's something that we want to continue to fold into all of our tracks. So we're working with them. We're reaching out to the Sage Foundation. And just trying to figure out who is on the leading edge of these things and how do we make sure that our students are part of the conversation.
That's cool. I mean, I know that it's got to be important, especially for the future. But like, I couldn't even do this show if I didn't use ChatGPT. I I don't use it to write anything for me or anything like that. But like, sometimes I'm like, okay, this is what I want to say. I don't know how to say it, so write me something that sounds like this, and then it'll write it. And if I like it, I'll use it. If I don't, then I'll be like, I'll write it myself, or I'll ask it
Mm-hmm.
to do it again. So like, a lot of people are critical of AI, saying that it's not really creation, but you have to have the idea or the AI can't do it.
Yeah, exactly. And it can be helpful for prompts or, that writer's block that we tend to get sometimes. I mean, I use it to help with grant writing sometimes where I'm like, I don't even know how to start answering this question. Like, I know what I want to say, kind of, but I just don't exactly know how to start. And so I'll put it in, and half the time it's like, oh, it's okay, but it's going to be a lot of work.
Yeah.
But at least it gets me going, then it gets my brain turning. So,
Yeah. For me, it's like actually having staff members whenever I don't even have a budget right now. You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, one day I do. I want to hire a crew of people and stuff like that. And I hope that that day comes. That I can have a studio and that I can employ some people to, do lighting and do the cameras and edit the show and, all the things I don't really want to do.
Mm-hmm.
There are people who would rather do it than me. So, I hope that happens. But for now, AI is the answer.
Yeah, yeah. Well, who knows? Maybe one day you'll be working with our students.
That'd be really cool.
Yeah.
I'd be open to that. Well, I think that that was a really good talk. I think that we got a lot of really great information out there for everybody. Um, and before we break loose, is there anything that you want to draw attention to anybody who's watching this? Maybe they go check this thing out. I know that we want them to go and at least think about donating and helping. And if they've got a lot of money or equipment that they would like to just hand over to some people who really need it, we definitely want that to happen. But is there anything else that you'd like to say?
Yeah, definitely. Just we're lucky enough to have a free digital billboard downtown at the center, which used to be the CNN Center.
Oh,
So
cool!
if you're in the area, you should definitely go check that out. We're really excited about that opportunity. We are also having a pickleball fundraising event at Dill Dinkers Pickleball. July 26th. So it's a Saturday night from 6 to 10. It's going to be 80s themed, so kind of retro roller skating kind of thing, although with pickleball, not roller skating. So it's going to be, 80s inspired food and music, costume contest. Should be really fun. And then finally, we're going to have our annual event of the year, Dream Fest, at Assembly Studios, and that's going to be September 19th.
Very cool. So you heard it here. Go check these things out. Go check out Reimagine Atlanta's website. What is the address to that?
It's literally reimagineatl.com.
There you go. Go check it out. Thank you for being here, Jesse Sparrow.
Thank you. I appreciate you.